Welcome to the Movie Dump Podcast.
Where we ask the puzzling questions in life, such as, how come all we find are potatoes? Whatever happened to potato heads, potato arms, potato legs, etc., etc.? And are the potatoes going to be really pissed off when they come back and discover we've been eating their toes for so long? I'm sorry, that was a really stupid
That one was kind of weak.
That was bad.
That was okay.
Well, when I only have a couple of minutes to think of this stuff...
What do you mean a couple minutes? You have a whole week.
Well,
it's not my problem that you're a procrastinator. Yeah.
Scott, I think you need to go on vacation.
I do.
Where would you like to go for vacation?
I'm thinking some sort of camp.
Yeah, camp would be good.
Some sort of camp.
But
what camp would you recommend to me? That's what I would say.
I don't think there's any camp on this planet that could really,
Are you saying I should go to a camp in space?
Yes. Space camp!
Oh! Hey, that was...
Space camp! Space camp!
Meanwhile, Ben's just looking at us going, you guys are idiots.
Exactly.
It's
yeah.
Because it's in space.
This week we watched Space Camp.
Space camp!
Something that Nick chose.
Camp in space. Where there is...
I'm not gonna lie, I really didn't pay attention a whole lot in this movie. It lost my attention like probably 20 minutes into it.
Well, I paid a little attention to it because it was pissing me off so much.
I would watch it off and on, but honestly, if this was something that I just stumbled upon and then we didn't have to do it for the podcast, I probably wouldn't even have seen them get into space. I would have seen.
It kind of did take a long time for them to get into space.
Yeah, and it took them a long time to get out of space.
And once they got to space, it got really boring.
Really,
it was boring the whole time, pretty much. It was just very. It was an okay concept, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you were listening last week, you would have learned that one of us have been to space camp before.
Yes. It was me.
God, this podcast is going to be drawn out just like this damn movie. Let's get into it, all right?
Wait a minute, you can't launch us into space just yet.
Oh, I am. The boosters are about to ignite, and you need to go into space.
Space camp! I am going to space.
This
song wasn't really in the movie. I just made it up because...
Nick's just going to sing the entire podcast.
Space camp, where there's an annoying child.
Yeah, that really was. This is what happens when a movie is just incredibly stupidly written.
If you go back to our Space Buddies podcast, which is our mystery podcast, it was like their fourth one that we did.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
I remember the days.
Yeah, yep. Substitute puppies for kids.
Space Buddies was far more entertaining, I think.
Yeah.
At least it had cuddly puppies. There was nothing cuddly in this movie at all.
No.
Leah Thompson.
Well.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, she was okay.
I'll accept that as an answer.
I was watching her in this, and I don't know why, I was looking at her and like, she reminds me of Katy Perry for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why.
I didn't see it.
She's like that kind of girl next door look.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I don't think she looks like her. I just think the same type of
the kind of girl next door type of look.
All right, similar to Katy Perry in space.
Scott, go ahead and start reading the synopsis so we can move this along.
Alrighty. Well, American kids go to a space camp during the summer holidays. They learn how to operate the space shuttle. A team consisting of a guy who just entered to meet girls, a wannabe astronaut, and an instructor who wanted to go on a mission instead of teaching can sit in the shuttle while testing the engines. Then they're launched by mistake. That's
not quite completely accurate.
That's like half the movie.
Yeah, well, first off, the guy, in that synopsis, the guy didn't really go to space camp to meet girls. He went to space camp because his dad bought him a car and said he'd buy him a car if he went to space camp. So he went to space camp.
Yeah, I remember when I went to space camp, and, well, I didn't get anything for going to space camp.
You did.
But I was excited to go to space camp.
You got loads of experience
Yes,
going to
practical,
space camp.
real world experience.
Now, Nick,
Yeah,
Nick, what A-list celebrity, or used to be A-list celebrity, I don't know where his status is right now, as of his last film, is in this movie?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, Ben.
Was it Larry Bird?
It was not Larry Bird.
Oh.
In space camp.
A very young...
A very, very young Joaquin Phoenix was in this.
But this is when he went by the name of Leaf.
Yes, his
Phoenix.
middle name.
Yes.
Joaquin Leaf Phoenix.
Wow.
Well, when your brother's named River and your sister's named Summer, I guess, Leaf isn't that out of the ordinary.
It just sort of brings to question, shouldn't they make it like a law that you have to, have a certain sort of, I guess, IQ to be able to make names for your kids?
No, Scott Thunderdome Rickenberger.
Your middle name's Thunderdome.
Oh, crap.
Yeah. Let's just get off the name. Yeah. So Joaquin Phoenix was in this. He played the character of Max, which was the young kid who befriended the robot Jinx, who ended up sending them into space because Jinx is a robot that takes everything seriously.
Because they're friends forever.
Yes, and Max just wanted to go to space, and Jinx overheard that, and he's like, "Okay," and made some, conducted some plot with the computer,
the NASA computer.
Yeah, the NASA computer, which is like this almighty computer that controls the whole entire
Almighty
facility,
NASA,
and sends them to space. If
you're not following us, there was actually a giant computer in the mission control room
called NASA.
Called NASA, not like the organization. It was called NASA, so it was kind of like little Jinx robot plugs into big NASA and starts communicating. So
he did.
It's like we have a conversation, don't we?
Yeah, we have a conversation. Well,
is it too early to play a space camp soundbite?
No, it's never too early.
This is the soundbite.
Hello, Jinx. How can NASA help you?
Put Max in space.
There is no Max listed in astronaut program.
There is now.
So apparently, it's pretty easy to assign someone the status of astronaut.
Well, this just goes to this just goes to show you that NASA is not an actual organization; it's actually controlled by a giant artificial intelligence, much like in the Fallout universe, that the president is an actual computer.
Or like the Decepticons.
All I know is this plot of this movie makes me sick.
Yeah, it's a very basic plot.
Can we talk about like Transformers: Dark of the Moon?
Transformers was badass.
That was way better.
It was really funny.
This has been a very space-themed week almost.
Yeah, well, it's funny. Ben and I
Not for me.
Shut up, Scott.
Ben and I went to go see Transformers the night before, last night, I guess, before we started watching this. And what's really funny is in Transformers there was a very minimal storytelling, and in this there was probably minimal storytelling as well too. But you can totally forgive Transformers because the incredible story continuity problems that they had in that was all forgiven because they had such badass special effects and robots blowing shit up.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning of the movie, they built up a story pretty well. It seemed like it was going to be a pretty interesting story, all tied together. How all these different events in history that are kind of masked by the robots. And then it just goes to, fuck it, let's blow up Chicago.
Yeah, and it's forgivable because you got so much oh my god, they just blew the shit up out of everything.
Yeah,
this is great.
Yeah.
Fuck it, that Optimus Prime had, just said fuck you to the human race and let everybody die in Chicago.
Yeah.
But, it's for, oops.
Scott's sitting here going, I haven't seen it yet, fuckers.
Stop telling me all the spoilers.
Well, that's forgivable because it's a badass robot fighting movie. Whereas, this one, you come over to space camp.
There was a robot in this one.
There was a robot in this
one. There was
a
robot
that nothing there. It was
experimental multi-million-dollar maintenance robot that they just let a freaking 10-year-old play with.
Yeah,
I would have been totally
that
okay.
was my first hatred moment right there.
I would have been totally okay with a complete, fucktard story of sending children into space. If Jinx turned into a giant robot and just started smashing the shit out of everything, I'd been like, this is fun and entertaining. Yay.
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I don't know. Yeah.
Space Camp.
I kind of stopped halfway, like marking down for sound bites, but I
You
did.
zoned out like way throughout this movie.
Yeah, I did. It
was hard to pay attention to.
I just got up and
Awful.
started like cleaning stuff.
Well, the thing that like held me, I think, for the first maybe 30 minutes of this movie was the incredibly cheesy 80s. It was like super 80s in this.
Oh yeah.
Like they were like the main guy character was wearing like a Hawaiian shirt throughout the entire thing.
In the Jeep Wrangler.
Oh yeah, it was totally,
Yeah.
absolutely 80s in this, like 100%.
Yeah.
And watching that and the bad acting, of course, and the shitty robots. I love a fucking 80s movie with shitty robots.
Oh
in
yeah,
it's so
Disney's
awesome.
Black Hole.
I just love halfway through it you made a Rocky reference.
Yeah, happy birthday, Polly.
Which I lost it at that moment. The robot Jinx.
Those are like the two like.
It was the way that he communicates with the NASA computer. He pretty much turns into a freaking disco ball.
Yeah,
And
So
lights just start
lame.
flailing all over the place, and that's how he communicates.
I gotta love
this robot is like one of the worst movie robots I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
was
It
crappy.
is. It's a really. I would have loved.
I'd really like to say he started the entire thing, accidentally sending kids into space, but he didn't. And I'd like to say, Max, had something to do with this since he told the robot he wanted to go into space, but he also didn't. I blame NASA for letting this kid mess around with a stupid robot.
$27 million fucking robot.
And nobody
Yeah.
cared. Like, they
And the
saw the
kid-
kid in this locker that this kid had, and they're just like,
What are
we
you
got
doing?
better stuff to do than mess around with
Yeah,
a
we
robot.
have to go find kids that are kissing.
Really? What? Okay. Really,
Whoa.
what I think they should have done is, I think this robot was real, and it wasn't a drone to help out Space Camp or help out, NASA. I think it was a idea to take this robot and give it to the Russians, so they would
So
just
they could
fuck
fuck
up their space program
Yeah,
so bad.
nice.
Russia's launching children into space left and fucking right, and they're like, "Oh,
This
PR
should have
nightmare."
worked. Robot told us to launch children into space. They say much better than launching dog into space.
He said friends forever.
So I have a soundbite here for it's all the campers, well, the main campers that we follow in the movie, saying like, what is their purpose of being at space camp?
Okay.
Which I found kind of interesting because none of them just said, "I want to go to space."
Well, one did, didn't they?
Kind of, not really. Yeah, but it was like, "I want to go to space because." Here, soundbite.
I want to go into space to contact life forms that exist on chemicals other than carbon and oxygen. You should visit my high school.
So we struck this deal. Like, he got me to space camp, and I got me a Jeep. So, what are you doing here?
I want to be the first guy to have a fast food franchise in space. Rudy T's.
Are you serious?
Yeah, some guy in the space station is going to get a Big Mac attack. Rudy T's going to be there.
That was awful.
I want to go to space to open up a fast food joint.
I think the first day of space camp should have been about setting correct expectations about why you're going to space. Not
Yeah.
Yep.
you want to start up a burger joint or I want to be the first person in space to eat a banana or something.
It's
something
sort of
stupid.
forgivable. They're kids. They got big, dreams. When in reality, you go up to space and run experiments.
I'm glad that your big dream is to open up a burger joint in space.
Well,
That seriously sounds like a Peter Griffin idea there.
I was thinking a little bigger than that. I was thinking, opening up a Nike shoe store. That way you have the sponsorship along with it. You have a big corporation backing you, and they need Nikes in space.
So you can run in space. See, now if you
Yeah.
were
well,
smart,
no, that's to plug up the holes in the... No,
if you were smart, you would have started an oxygen bar in space.
Oh,
Yeah,
touche.
not much
Touche.
that oxygen stuff up there.
That's true, that's
No.
true.
So oxygen
It's a really bad channel on TV. Oh, wait.
Ironically, it plays a part of the story.
yes. So I just
Well,
would
we should-
rather
we should
jump
pro-
straight to the end and
Well, we should
continue
probably,
talking about it.
probably tell the stupid thing that NASA did that ended up causing all this crap in the first place.
Yes. Okay. So
This really made me mad.
Actually, I don't know what they were doing.
Well,
I wasn't paying attention.
I'll tell
It
you
was a
because
sociological experiment
I was
somehow.
screaming at the TV partially. at
Yeah.
this point.
Okay, this is going to take like 40 minutes. Go ahead, Scott.
So once upon it, no. So anyway, so this is what NASA did. They decided that they'd let, this group of kids sit in the space shuttle while they were doing the engine test.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're doing.
That was stupid.
Yes.
NASA would never do that because it just in that, rare case that, one of those things blew up.
Which it almost did.
Has happened before. It would just be a huge lawsuit and a huge freaking shitstorm.
I liked how the way that Jinx got the kids into space is by overheating the engines.
Oops.
Yeah. Way to go, Jinx.
while they're testing it. So NASA control was set with the dilemma of, do we launch kids into space that are clearly not ready for it, or do we just say fuck it and let the space shuttle explode with all those kids in there and have this big, huge media nightmare that we have to deal with?
Like, what's going to be less of a lawsuit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what do? They fucking send them off into space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all orphans anyway, I'm sure. Nobody really cared.
Yeah,
Which, I mean, I have to give those kids
Because where were the
credit.
parents in this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was space camp. Parents are on vacation. They don't care about the kids.
They're on fucking Maui.
Yeah.
Doing lines of cocaine.
They took the Disney approach to parenting, which is, we'll just throw them in at the end of the movie just to show they actually have
Which
parents.
they didn't.
Yeah, well, you didn't even see that. At the
Yeah,
end.
yeah. We're
Yeah,
jumping to the
that's
end.
true.
Spoiler alert. The shuttle lands. Everyone's fine. And then
Credits
credits.
roll.
You're like, what the fuck?
You don't even know that.
They don't. It doesn't even land. It doesn't
nothing
even
good
land with an
happens.
actual footage shot for the movie. It lands with stock footage.
Yep.
You don't
They were
even
like,
know
"Don't
what
worry,
happened."
guys.
That's how the movie ends. Stock footage credits.
Yeah.
Out of film, can't continue.
No way. No post-traumatic stress syndrome or anything for these kids from being
Yeah.
launched into fucking orbit.
Yeah,
And
no,
almost dying about 3 times.
no
Yeah.
getting
Yay,
off of the
we've been in
ship. Yeah,
space.
yeah, none of that. None of that.
Hooray! This is the best trip to space camp ever. I can't wait to come back
Granted,
next
if I
year.
were a kid and I were in space, it would be so kick-ass.
See, I think I zoned out by the time we saw Leah Thompson in that simulator thing. And,
Within the first 5 minutes.
yeah,
of
in the
movie.
first 5 minutes,
Yep.
she's in the simulator where I guess it's a simulator that they do for. Or Scott, you've been to space camp. What's the actual name for that simulator?
I don't know, because it was a long time ago. I was like 11.
Yeah, it's not like he's
It's-
gone
it's-
since.
it's-
Well, he's
basic-
sitting there
It's not like
going.
he goes every weekend.
Yeah, but he was
you know?
sitting there watching the movie. He's like, "Hey, that hasn't changed one bit."
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I don't know the name of this stuff.
I remember that alley right there. That's Jimbo, the construction worker. I don't know.
He molested me.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Space camp.
Space
molestation.
camp. Wait, I didn't go to space camp. Oh, no! They just told me it wasn't cover up
You went
the
to
horrible
Guatemala,
truth. Oh, no. Central America's just like space.
and that wasn't moon rocks. That was crap. Okay, so Leah Thompson is in the simulator where it's simulating and trying to stabilize the shuttle when it's coming back into orbit.
Spinning all around.
Yeah, it's spinning all around,
She's all
and
strapped
she's sitting there
in.
going, "I can't do it. I can't do it."
It's the same gyroscope type
Yeah.
thing you see
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
like all this.
Yeah.
stuff.
I mean, I remember when I was at space camp, they did let us try that. Like, everybody got to try that. They gave us like a couple of minutes to try and do it each, and that is hard as crap.
Yeah.
Because you're
And-
dealing with G-forces, you don't really know what you're doing in the first place because, well, you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's like the last Starfighter thing. If you figure it out, they're like,
Yep.
"Oh, we gotta send you to fight the rebellion."
Oh, the rebellion! Jesus
man.
fucking Christ! Leaf Phoenix's character Max, or Joaquin Phoenix, as everyone knows him. We're just going to call him Leaf because it's fun.
Call him Max.
Call him Max. So Max thinks that he's in Star Wars.
He's in the very fantasy world.
He is very fantasy of Star Wars. He's calling everyone the evil doers or the adults
I
or
can
the
see-
Empire.
I can see the psychological profile, on these kids before they're entered into space camp. Like, let's
Mentally
see, little
ill, mentally
Max
ill, mentally ill.
responds well to Star Wars quotes.
Yeah. He thought he was Luke Skywalker. And there's that one moment when they're in space, he has to go off and do something, and he can't do it. And
He's spazzing out.
yeah,
against
he's
the
spazzed
window.
out. He's like,
Oh,
let me back in, let me back in. He's off on a moonwalk or spacewalk right at that
Oh,
point.
wait, we have a soundbite for it, don't we?
Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Let's just play the damn soundbite. Get it over
Hooray!
with. All right, soundbite.
No way!
have to help Andy.
Luke. Luke. Use the Force, Luke. Stretch out your feelings. The Force is always with you.
So yeah, there you go.
There's little Leaf spazzing out.
Yep.
Use the Force, Luke. Trust your instincts.
Yeah.
Suck my cock.
Oh,
What?
I remember that part in that
never
movie.
mind.
Hey, there's a part where Leaf got kissed right on the mouth in this, didn't he?
No. Oh yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Oh yeah, by some chick.
It was the other chick in there,
Trish.
Trish, I want to say.
The one that wants to be a radio DJ in space.
Yeah,
was that what you
realistic
wanted to do?
expectations.
Something like that. I don't know.
Tish.
Yep.
Yeah, Tish.
Yeah.
Played by Kelly Preston.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked kind of hot in this. I love how like every movie where we're like, oh man, she was hot. Oh, she had great boobs.
Look, that's the only thing keeping us going through most of these movies.
When there is no substance whatsoever except cup size, you just gotta
I would've been
express
really-
the cup size as much as possible.
I would have been really concerned if there was nudity in space camp. You know?
Really concerned.
Whoa.
Although there
Sex
was
and G-forces.
there was a scene where like they were all in the barracks and the chicks were like running around in their panties and stuff, and I'm like, I don't know if that's an accurate representation of space camp or not, but whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe it was
I don't
okay in the '80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're all bonding.
She's always in her underwear in the 80s movies.
Yeehaw.
Fantastic.
That's why we love the '80s.
Yes. All right, so let's move along. So they go into space. Yeah.
And they're in space. There's not much to do in space if you haven't been.
Yeah. So now, okay. So first
they float around. You get the essential scene of like, whoa, there's zero gravity. Flail on their arms.
They do the whole like, oh, I'm all excited. Oh man, this is great. And the first thing, Max turns to the teacher and goes, I want to go home.
Yeah, buzzkill.
Fucking dick, you're the one that got them up there. He's the one who's like, I want to go to space. Now he's in space. He's like, fuck this, I want to go home.
Fucking asshole. That's like the little, that's like your little cousin. It's like, oh boy, I want to go to Disney. You finally get to Disney. He's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like, dick. What the hell?
Well, I do got to give him credit, though. None of them freaking threw up on the way up.
Yes, none of them
That's
did
an
throw.
achievement.
Yes,
I would have hurled all over the place.
Yes.
Shit myself or something. I don't know.
It would have been a chain reaction, too, because one person chucks in space, and everybody chucks in space.
I'm sorry, most unintentionally funny scene in this is where Max has to pee.
Yeah.
So they strap him into the little,
Space-
urinalysis thing.
Space toilet, which, by the way, magically gravity works in that thing.
It's the suction.
Yeah. Okay. All
Oh
right.
yeah, giant. They, of course, and I don't know if you ever peed on a space shuttle in orbit or not, but
I'm pretty sure we don't have a lot of followers that have done that task.
Probably
if you have, you'll know the way you pee on a space shuttle is you go into a little room and there's a little sucking nozzle hose thing that you got to put on your wang and just go. Just let it do its thing.
I just have this mental image of like Buzz Aldrin sitting at his desk at home listening to the podcast going, that's not how you do it.
No, I'm saying he's like a tear forms in his eyes like, those were the best times. Yeah,
Back in my day when I first were up, we had a hand crank space toilet.
Well,
had to provide the suction ourselves while we were doing our business. Now that was hard.
Well, unintentionally funny moment is they get Max in the room and then the older kid gives him this hose. Is like, you just got to do it, man.
Yeah, just put it in there.
And the curtain is closed and you just wait a second and the first thing that goes through my head is the kid's in there for 8 hours like, this is great! Oh my god! I love space camp! This is amazing! Wow!
Which really we were sort of thinking that joke at the beginning, but then they actually start getting into the running out of air crisis. And in the span of 10 minutes in this movie, they'd gone through 10 hours of air.
Yeah.
That kid's been in there the entire time.
It goes from them they get into orbit which what Scott said during
Max,
the movie
we're gonna
was
die. I don't care. This is great.
when they're doing these tests. you said that they don't fill the tanks up all the way.
No, it's
They don't even do this test at all.
Well, no, they do
the
test fires.
No,
I said
I
doo-doo.
thought you meant like put the kids on a space shuttle.
No.
Ben, I said doo-doo.
But
But anyway, yeah, so they do these... They do...
they do these tests.
these test these test engine fires before every mission just to make sure.
But there's not enough fuel in
kablooey.
there to actually send the rocket to space and back. So they do that, but they don't have enough oxygen.
Yeah. So in reality, if this was real and they had to send kids up into space, it would have gotten about 10 miles up in the atmosphere and petered out and crashed to the ground again. So either left with the options of space shuttle explodes or space shuttle goes up in the air and then falls down.
Now, this was filmed before the Challenger explosion, and then it was released after the Challenger explosion. So
bad time.
Yeah, a big PR nightmare. In the same instance as like when Spider-Man was came out, there was a big, huge scene where he puts a web between the Twin Towers and catches a helicopter. Yeah. And right after the Twin Towers went down, they're like, "Fuck, get this out of here!"
At least they could erase. This movie was all about space shuttles and space.
Like a lot. And there was a lot of emphasis on if you don't work together as a team, you will die. Yeah. Your shuttle will explode, and you will be no more.
Yeah. Don't hit that red button.
Yeah.
Oh! Yeah, so what are they trying to say there? I love when that shit happens, you know. It's like the equivalency of you know, James Cameron making the Titanic, and then like the Titanic really set sail, and that really did happen. You know, they were like, "Fuck, bad timing."
Yeah.
Or maybe he makes Avatar, and
that's the route I thought you were going to go. I'm like,
and we just discover this planet that we're really doing this shit to. And
there's a giant blue alien race that's intelligent, and they're extremely offended by the movie.
Yeah. So they get launched into space, and they only have 12 hours of oxygen, which apparently isn't enough time to re-enter orbit and land safely.
Yep.
I guess, they needed 14 hours, and they only had 12. 2 minutes later, they're down to 3 hours worth of oxygen.
Oh, it's like less than that. Like it went from 12 hours to 2.
It took so long for that to happen, and then all of a sudden, like, next cut, we're at 3. Meanwhile, Max is still in the bathroom.
This is awesome!
Yeah. So they decide, for this time that they're sitting there, to travel over to the space station that wasn't completed being built, but there was oxygen there that they could take. So now they're stealing oxygen from the space station.
Assholes.
Yeah, and they get over there, and the oxygen tanks are just kind of hanging out willy-nilly.
Well, yeah, I love that they went to a space station that was not hardly even started construction. There's like girders up in space just laying there, but there's oxygen tanks just laying around. They're like, we'll just take these.
I have no idea if that's accurate or not.
I just love how she's trying to reach for it. She's like, I can't reach,
and it's just like an inch away.
Yeah, it's like I don't know, that whole.
So what did they do? What did they do, Ben? What's this other stupid thing that they do?
If only there was a kid with shorter arms.
Yeah,
somehow.
There's a kid that's smaller to get in there. So the kids decide to send Max out on a spacewalk,
which is where that soundbite from earlier comes in.
Yeah. From that's where that soundbite came from.
So stupid.
Which honestly, if you
they
guys
pull him out of the bathroom,
put me back in.
Another couple of minutes, guys.
If you guys have seen, which everyone should see, the Christmas Story. Where the little kid, after the mom wraps him up and puts him in his winter clothes, and he's just stuck there and he can't put his arms down. That's exactly what Max looked like in this movie. He's just like, I can't move!
Oh, and another unintentionally hilarious moment is, him getting knocked out and flying out into space like that. Just, I can't move my arms!
Yeah.
Well, it was really bad because in order to get him to fit in this adult-size spacesuit, they had to freaking use orange. I guess the closest thing would be like those orange tie-down straps.
Yeah. They're tied down,
and they wrenched the chute together to keep them in there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it was
so
ridiculous.
crappy.
It was ridiculous.
I hate this movie.
So he goes and helps. What was the teacher's name? It was Anna.
Christy McAuliffe.
the character's name.
That's a good question. I don't remember. Andy. Okay.
Andy. All right. So he goes and helps her out, and they grab the containers of oxygen. I was about to say fuel.
Liquid oxygen on the
and
space
Max
shuttle
can't,
is fuel.
Yeah. And Max really can't grab the one container of oxygen, so he's sitting there pulling on the cord, trying to get it loose. Which honestly, I don't. It wouldn't have been stuck like that because there's no fucking gravity in space.
Yeah, there was a lot of continuity.
Yeah, there's a lot of continuity with that. And then
I wouldn't say continuity, anachronism.
Yeah, and finally he gets it loose, but since with the motion, he starts floating off into space. What does he do? He tries to stop himself from propelling out into the abyss by grabbing onto a satellite dish and breaks the fucking satellite dish.
Just because you haven't wasted enough of NASA's money, we're just gonna fuck some more.
Way to
crap
go,
up.
fucking
Way
Lee
to go.
Phoenix.
Man, he's the reason our economy sucks today.
Man. 10-year-old kid wrecks America.
Yeah.
Send the shuttle into space. Oh, well, the fucking expensive it is to launch a goddamn shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
It's hundreds of millions of dollars to get one of those
how
things
expensive
up there.
would it be to, push that under the rug that they just blew up a whole bunch of kids on the launch pad?
You could say they were taking a tour and
you.
the thing exploded.
Everyone in that control room would have been fired. Everyone in that facility would have been fired. NASA would have been shut down. We would all be speaking Russian right now.
Space Russian, maybe.
Space Russian. Which is pretty much the same thing, except you talk like a robot.
Interesting enough, I kind of did a little research on this movie before we watched it, and I guess, the American kids go into space. The original script called for the Russian astronauts, which were kids, incidentally, too. I guess they had their own Russian space camp.
That would
What the fuck is up with people in the 80s sending kids to space?
I don't know, but apparently...
that would have been so retarded.
The Russians would have saved these kids. And I guess, 80s Cold War Americana were like, no.
Oh, this movie was just pushing a lot of buttons.
Yeah.
Wow.
We could not imagine that both... I could just see the conversation that's going on between these two groups of kids. Why are you in space? Well, a robot accidentally sent us into space while some space camp sent us up there. Holy crap, that was the same thing that happened to us. How much oxygen do you have? 2 hours? Us too!
Holy shit.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
It's just a roving, this robot isn't a NASA thing, it's like a spy robot.
He's just going around sending kids
the American
to space.
government...
It's fucking Laserbeak from Transformers. This is going around just causing havoc.
This is what happened. The Americans and the Russians came up with the same idea to make stupid-ass robots and trade them at the same time.
It's part of the charter program. Oh no, I can just see they're in space. Like, why are you Russian kids in space? In Russia, all children go to space when they reach age of man.
Zero gravity training in case Earth explode.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate this movie.
This is Gulag. I don't know.
Space Gulag.
It's the outer reaches of space near like Pluto.
It's like the super Gulag that the really bad people go to.
I really kind of wish they made a Space Camp 2, and it maybe was that storyline, but like they got shipped to Mars or something like that. Something completely fucked up. Or they had to land on the moon, or I don't know, something. They had to land on an asteroid and plant the nuclear device to save Earth somehow.
We only have 642 days worth of oxygen. That's 3 hours short to get to Mars. No.
Oh, math isn't our strong suit at NASA.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
So how did they get back to Earth?
I don't remember.
Fall.
Autopilot? I don't know.
They fall.
Autopilot. Lance Hudson blew up the autopilot. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, no, that's the airplane.
Yeah, you just wait in space long enough, and re-entry will come to you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. Here's the problem. NASA hadn't installed a long-range radio on this thing.
Yeah, that was another thing.
Oops.
They didn't install.
Was down.
They didn't install a long-range radio, but one of the kids was trying to communicate with Morse code. However, apparently no one in NASA pays attention to the fucking controls.
Yeah.
And didn't see that there was a Morse code coming through. But lo and behold, here comes Jinx, who busts into Central Command and starts, oh, hey, look!
Get that fucking robot out of here!
Yeah, no, get that robot out. I sent Max to space. Oh, look, Max is talking to us. Oh, jeez, thank you, Jinx. We're going to give you a can of oil. Is the fucking reason the goddamn kids are in space.
I would have been like, I'd be like, Jinx, you're going to be a fucking shop vac.
Yeah, like, what the...
Try sending kids into space for hundreds of millions of dollars when you're a shop vac.
I like to think, like, he put in an order to disassemble Jinx, and then Jinx just went fucking human eradication mode haywire and just eliminated everybody in NASA.
That would be, yeah.
Fuck you guys. Laser cannons start going off everywhere out of its eyes.
Now, on an unrelated note, I'm actually really impressed with that Tish, girl. Because she sat there and did Morse code for like 10 hours straight.
No, not even 10 hours straight, because she started doing it right when they found out that they're about to run out, that they're going to run out of oxygen. So she had to have done it for like at least.
She's pushing a button. She's pushing a button for 10 fucking hours. I think when the idea comes out, it's like, this is a great idea. Yeah, I'll do it. Hour number 6.
You're like,
she's like, fuck. This is boring.
Which means that light was flashing.
Oh my god.
In NASA for 10 fucking hours in front of people, and they did not notice it.
She's pushing a button for 10 fucking hours. This is worse than like being in the hatch on Lost.
That's like
yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
That's like instant freaking carpal tunnel syndrome.
Yeah, that's why I think this was all just an experiment to see, on like human endurance or something.
We were joking around that like right when it goes to land. Because they get into the atmosphere and they're going through the clouds and they're sitting there looking around and actually here soundbite.
Where are we? We're dead. We didn't make it. I know we made it. I know we did.
They're trying to figure out, are they dead or did they survive? Blah 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 blah. We thought it would have been great if like. When it just went black when they're in the clouds, you just see like the guy from NASA Central Command just like step in front of the windows, like you've passed the test. Congratulations. And it's like what the fuck? What the fuck was this?
Here's your stipend.
We were looking for our lost nuclear armament codes, and the only way to do it was to finish the simulator with children.
It's like the kids are in this fucking Kobayashi Maru simulation. Like what the fuck? Come on,
Star Trek reference.
Yeah.
I love that we're using things that are far more awesome than Space Camp and comparing Space Camp to those things.
So, guys, Space Camp was exactly like Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Yeah, we compared this to Fallout
and Armageddon.
Star Trek,
Transformers,
Star Wars. Well, that's just because they referred to it.
Yep.
Everything.
Well, we got to get through these somehow. So.
Yeah. And that's the end of the movie. Like seriously, once they land,
that's it.
It credits roll. That's it. Like we seriously just went through the whole entire movie.
What do you guys think happened to all the people once they landed?
Fired. Well, actually, the adult that was on the shuttle probably got a medal. That's what I'd be.
No, I'm pretty sure she probably got a medal and got fired for allowing them to bring the damn kids up there.
The executive in charge of NASA probably got fired for letting little kids sit in a space shuttle while they're testing the engine. Probably, I don't know. Most of the people in the central control or whatever, probably were okay because a lot of them were just responding to an emergency.
Yeah.
And Jinx shot back. The all-powerful NASA god probably remained being the all-powerful NASA god by making the blame on Jinx.
He became Skynet.
Terminator. I like to think.
Another good movie reference.
I like to think Max grew up to become an actor and
possibly
get a role in a Gladiator film.
Possibly.
And then later on in life, decide that he was going to become a rapper and leave acting.
Yeah.
But it was all a ruse to make a mockumentary.
The black guy on board probably went off to college and joined Lambda
and figured out he was gay.
Kelly Preston probably married John Travolta, and Leah Thompson went back in time.
Yes.
Sounds good to me.
So how many movies did we just refer to?
Get them all out of the way, right? So.
It's
it's like 7 degrees of space camp. You can compare. You
can compare everyone. You could connect everyone to space.
Just whatever gets you through the movie.
Yeah.
Not that you should be watching this movie because it sucks, but
Yeah.
Jinx grew up to be the robot.
What really sort of bugged me about this movie,
he was Johnny Five.
Jinx
became Johnny Five.
No,
Johnny Five is Jinx 2.0.
Jinx became the probe that they launched onto Hoth off the Star Destroyer.
Oh wow! All right.
One last thing. What really bugged me about this, besides everything, was the glaring freaking age gap between some of the people that they sent in the same group on Space Camp. Why is there a 10-year-old in the same group as a bunch of 15, 16,
because he's a genius, and the rest of them aren't.
Was there like an age camp for age cap for Space Camp?
Well, no. See, Space Camp is actually divided up into different groups, all mostly by age, and some of them by how many times you've actually been to Space Camp. Like the little kids go to Space Camp, and then after you've been there once, you go to they upgrade you to like Space Academy, and then there's other crap.
There's a Space
Academy.
There's a
Space Academy. I would go if it was. I would go if it was called Starfleet Academy. I would totally have gone.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And then the next version of Space Camp is Air Force. They get enrolled in that.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Oh shit! This isn't camp.
I've actually applied to NASA.
Clean the entire runway myself.
All right. Oh. Well, I actually have applied to NASA a couple of times too.
Oh, we all have.
And I never got accepted, obviously. So.
I think
they don't need film majors in space.
No, not really. Not really. I remember there was like something like
unless you're Russian, because Russians were the first to send camera to space.
Shut up. So
that's stupid.
There was like a study that NASA did on like sleep or something
deprivation.
Like that. I don't think it was that. I think it was just sleep. And I remember like looking up to fill out an application, join that program. Like, hey, I paid to sleep. Why not?
Well, I remember.
But it probably wouldn't have been really bad. It was like, here, you got to sleep with this fucking needle in your eye.
What does that have to do with space?
You can sign up to be tortured for a year.
What's really funny is I remember applying to NASA one time. They do wacky experiments at NASA if you look in the right place.
They're wacky.
They did. They had
Let's
one.
see if worms can mate in
They
zero
had
gravity.
one where they were going to pay you. I think it was like $30,000 or $40,000 for 1 month's worth of work.
Jesus Christ!
And you know what that was?
What?
It was an immobility experiment.
Oh,
I'm totally serious. They wanted like about 10 people to just lay in bed and move as little as possible for a month to see what the effects of a long-term space flight out to like Mars or something would be.
Oh man,
Ooh.
that'd be hard. They'd have to give me like some drugs to do it or something.
I don't know how they do it. I applied. I was like, that'd be so interesting and horrible.
Yeah, that would be kind of interesting.
You'd be $40,000 richer, but you'd have a hell of a lot of bed sores
man,
at the end of the thing.
It would be awful. But yeah, so that's that they do some really weird stuff like that. So I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's wrap it up because we finished the movie. We started talking about space camp and space travel and everything else in the world except about this movie. Let's just go. Hey. I'll go first since I'm talking. Hey, how's everyone doing? I hope you're sitting down and enjoying your life.
And now another fireside chat with Ben.
Hello. Good evening. Yeah, I really didn't pay attention to this movie. The parts that I did pay attention to, there's a reason why I stopped. Because it was just really boring. It was very drawn out. Even having Leah Thompson in this really couldn't save it for me. I'm just going to go ahead and say I give it a 8.5. I give it an 8.5.
All right.
Yep. All right. I guess I'll go next.
Sure.
Yep. Thanks, Nick. but yeah. So I don't know. This movie had the problem with just being a really shitty plot. Really shitty, and that's what really bugged me. I'm just not a fan of stupid kid adventure movies because they're all just retarded mostly. It did have an awesome musical score though.
Yeah, John Williams did score this, and there was some really good 80s songs in there. There's a couple of Eric Clapton songs which I was jamming out to.
Yep.
to that.
You weren't jamming out to shit during this movie.
I was jamming out in my head. Forever Man, I was jamming out.
See, what you don't know is we actually signed Ben up for a NASA experiment on watching shitty movies over and over again. And we, it's, what is this? This is episode 38 or 39 or something.
The experiment's almost
long.
complete.
Yeah. You got 24 more weeks of this shit.
Oh, no.
Scott and I really report back to NASA once we leave here.
Yep. Well, the gig's up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's mostly the shitty plot. There really wasn't horrible acting or anything like this, and for what they were trying to pull off, I thought it was pretty good, except for the plot. That ruined everything. So, yeah, I totally would give this movie. It's, I don't know, like I'm gonna go a 7.5. We'll give it a 7.5 because the plot just destroyed this movie.
All right.
And the robot. I hated the robot. And the kid. You know what? I hated it.
Nick?
There was a lot to hate about this movie. I mean, there was shitty acting. Leah Thompson was cute in it, but there was shitty acting. Lee Phoenix was annoying as fuck. The robot was annoying as fuck.
It's funny, if you didn't know that this kid turned out to be Joaquin Phoenix, if you watched it not knowing that fact, you'd be like, oh, that kid had no future in acting.
Yeah.
Like, he matured a lot as an actor.
I like to think he changed his name after this.
Yeah, he saw this. He's like, I got to change my name to Joaquin Phoenix. I'm Lee Phoenix's other brother.
Hopefully nobody's going to recognize me in this movie.
I'm River and Lee Phoenix's other brother, the better actor.
Well, I remember when I originally watched this movie a long time ago, I saw the name Lee Phoenix in the credits, and I'm like, I wonder if that, like,
that's the same guy.
Yeah, right. You're like, Lee Phoenix. I wonder if that's, like, who else has the last name of Phoenix,
And would have the first name of Leaf.
Yeah, right, exactly. It's like a superhero name or some stupid shit like that. Like, Dark Phoenix. Anyway, there was a lot of shit that was annoying about this, and there wasn't very much to really be, happy about, I think. A lot of it did get really boring, especially once he got into space. I enjoyed watching it again, but I don't want to watch it a third time, I think. And
You've watched this before?
I saw it a long time ago, like 10 years ago, something like that. And
this is my first time seeing it.
I remember watching
and last
it.
time.
I remember watching that 10 years ago and be like, crap, this is shitty. And then watching it again, I'm like, well, it's still shitty. And I really don't want to watch it again after this. But,
No.
I enjoyed watching it this time, I think. Like, there was a lot of,
There's some interesting moments in it, but
some city movies,
it was just way too predictable. You're just like, I know exactly what's going to happen. But I mean, it's not one of those movies that's going to be unpredictable.
Yeah. But as such, we here on the Movie Dump like to rate things by entertainment value.
Yes.
So,
yep.
It was entertaining for me this time going through and watching it, just because we used to make fun of it again. I don't think I could do it again and do it. It'd be hard. I'm going to give this, 1 being best, 10 being the worst, I'm going to give this a 7.5 also.
All right.
Yay. So it's 8? No.
No, 8. It's like 8.6 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Combined total.
I don't know.
Let's send it out to NASA because they're good with math.
Ben does math.
They'll
It's
figure it out.
7.833333333.
Round something up there. Jinx.
Stay tuned on the Movie Dump where Ben says 3 for
next
4.5
week.
hours.
So what are we watching next week anyway?
It's Scott's pick.
Well, yes it is. And
I'm really terrified.
oh, you should be.
Because usually Scott will either bring us a pretty decent film or downright shitty as can be.
Well, this is a movie that I haven't seen. And everybody knows that 4th of July is this month.
Are we watching?
4th of July is in 2 days.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are we watching?
Probably about the time
Born
that
on
you'll
the
be
4th of
listening to
July?
this. Huh?
We're watching Born on the 4th of
No,
July?
actually. I couldn't find a really, interesting 4th of July movie that would be worthy of our opinion that we didn't already know was good. So I just
There is an Uncle Sam horror film.
Well, I actually, if you let me explain
I was going to say, fucker, that's what I picked. No, sorry.
Nope. But anyway, so 4th of July is, a great day in American history. In fact, you could say it's an epic day in American history.
I think that's a clue.
Uh-oh.
Yes. And you know I like horror, right?
Uh-huh. Oh, no. Oh, God.
And you know, there's just one genre of movie that we haven't touched on because it scares me more than any horror movie I've ever watched.
Oh. Just go out with it.
Well, due to the epicness of this holiday, in this epic month, I think I'm going to bring in, you guessed it, epic movie.
Oh, that movie was so bad.
I have to say, bravo, good sir, for picking a movie I would not think you would.
I don't want to.
Bravo.
Have you guys seen that?
I've never seen it.
I've
given up on that whole genre.
Like a few scenes, but like Scott
I don't
said,
think it's the worst of those kind of movies, but
No,
it's up there.
The only decent ones that they had were the scary movies.
I don't even consider those to be in the same.
Yeah,
category.
I don't consider those.
It's the pop culture movies. I hate them. They confuse me because they keep making them.
Well, it's the new age pop culture
it's so
movies.
Shitty.
You know, where they're trying to follow the realms of, you have like Hot Shots and Airplane and things like that. You know, Naked Gun, anything with Leslie Nielsen. They tried to follow that.
I'm just calling it, man. Next week is going to be a long
podcast.
podcast.
Well,
that might be a two-parter. There's a lot of shit to complain about.
I'm sort of doing this because Nick terrified us with that Fred movie. I fucking hate that movie.
Man.
That's the worst movie I've ever watched. And I'm trying to get revenge, but the bad part about doing revenge on the Movie Dump podcast is you suffer through it too.
Yeah.
So
it's like being it's like setting off a nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And still being in the vicinity of the nuclear bomb.
It's like if we nuked Canada.
Yeah.
And Mexico.
Exactly like that. We'll just drop epic movie on it. But anyway, I've never seen this movie. I hate that genre of film.
Oh, man.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
bad.
Maybe I got a touch of the crazy. But
It's better than Date Movie.
Date Movie was shitty.
Yeah, I was
Epic
looking at a
Movie
lot
is
of
pretty
these.
bad.
I have to say, I actually watched Superhero Movie a few weeks back, and honestly, that was pretty entertaining. There was parts in there that were shitty and reminded me that, okay, yes, this is one of those movies. But there are other parts I'm like, this is actually pretty well done. So
I don't think Epic Movie is one
I
of
don't
those
think it's
movies.
going to be that either. From what I've seen, it's not whatsoever.
The ratings that I saw on IMDb were too.
At least you didn't bring Meet the Spartans.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, I can't do that.
Yeah. All right, so epic movie for next week. I think that might be a pretty hot discussion. If
I don't think I'm going to live through it, but we'll see.
Yeah, if you have anything to say, if you've already viewed this movie and you have some advice on how we can get through it, or if you actually enjoyed it and want to tell us why you enjoyed it, go tell us on Twitter. It's @themoviedump, or you can go and follow us on Facebook as well. Same thing, Movie Dump, or email us at youthroughpoo@me.com. We've actually been getting a pretty good amount of emails lately, but I don't have any right now.
Yeah, I'm too lazy to print them out.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go to the email bag for my next selection, because there's been a couple where people are like, you should do this, you should do that.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Supporting the fans? What?
yeah. Well, we still have them.
Yeah.
Yes, and go to our website, themoviedump.com, where you can check out all of our other past podcasts, or you could also go to iTunes and subscribe and comment and rate us on there as well. Did I get everything out of the way?
Sure,
Is
that
everything
sounds
done?
good.
Everything's
Yep.
done?
I zoned out, so
okay.
you know.
All right. Well, I
Everywhere
guess
you go is the Movie Dump.
well, that's it for this week. Until next week, I'm Ben.
I'm Scott Camp. Best camp ever.
I want to go to Scott
I don't know
Camp.
why.
I envision like we go to Scott Camp and it's just like 400 clones of you just hanging out, like eating beef jerky.
It's like being John Malkovich, but with Scott.
Like farming and like showing us how to do rudimentary
I don't know.
carvings or
Make,
something.
make houses out of trees and sticks. Build tires and farm. Yeah, okay.
Well, that must mean I'm Nick.
Yes.
So,
And this has been the Movie Dump Podcast. Enjoy your week.
See ya.
In space. Space. All right, bye.